Greetings, friends. Traditional image organization relies on metadata and manual keywording, a tedious process that often leads to lost assets. Semantic search fundamentally changes this by using artificial intelligence to understand the context and intent behind your query. Instead of matching text to tags, semantic search uses AI to analyze the pixels in your images so that it can find exactly what you describe. This kind of search requires a lot of computing power, so it's only available within the cloud-based Lightroom ecosystem. But don't despair, Classic users. In the first part of this tutorial, I'll cover semantic search using Adobe Lightroom Desktop version 9.3, and then I'll cover two other options that Classic users can use for natural language search tools. If you're ready to see something new, then let's jump in and let's get started. There has always been a search bar up here at the top of the Lightroom Desktop user interface. Using this strip, we can search through our images using fixed criteria like star rating or camera model. We've also been able to type words in this strip to do keyword searches. The problem, of course, is that this kind of text search is useless when the images that you want to find lack the requested keywords or descriptive metadata. But we can now use Adobe's object recognition technology to find things like yellow flowers, even if we've never applied either the keyword yellow or the keyword flowers onto any of these images. What you're seeing here is semantic search at work. When I type a search term like blue flowers, Adobe's AI model is interpreting my text prompt, and then it's doing its best to find all of the images that match my query. When you perform this kind of search, the AI orders the results that it finds based on its confidence level, which Adobe calls relevancy. When the sort order is set this way, the AI arranges its highest conviction guesses at the top and its lowest conviction guesses at the bottom. This is pretty amazing stuff, and a huge help if you have not carefully keyworded every image. But there are two caveats that I need to mention. First, this kind of AI-powered search happens on Adobe's servers. If you're a Lightroom desktop user, and if you're not connected to the internet, then semantic search will fail. Second, like all things AI, the results that you get with this tool are unpredictable and sometimes prone to errors. If I do a search for girl with dog, then the first two results that the AI finds here are spot on. But if I change my search to just dog, then the images that we saw a second ago, images where we know the AI had found a dog, are not displayed. These kind of inconsistencies are totally perplexing. When you run into one of these puzzles, I suggest trying different search terms or resorting to older methods like keyword or star rating searches. Well, now that you've seen what semantic search can do, let's switch over to the Lightroom web interface. For an alternative way to access this new feature, I'm going to open up a web browser and then I'm going to go to lightroom.adobe.com. I'm doing this because I want to show you that the Lightroom web platform also contains this new AI feature. If you type a search request in this box right here, let's look for photos with purple flowers this time, then once again, I get good results. Now, if you're a Lightroom desktop user, then knowing that semantic search also exists on the web platform is not particularly meaningful. But if you're a Lightroom Classic user, then this option might really interest you. See, if you're a Classic user, and if you are syncing a bunch of your favorite images with your cloud account, then the web interface gives you the opportunity to benefit from this type of search too. Let me show you what I mean. If I do a search for lake at sunset type photos, and if I find a couple of images that I like, then I've saved myself a lot of tedious scrolling or searching. Let me emphasize that finding this photo would have been really hard within my Lightroom catalog because it lacks descriptive keywords. Anyway, since I found some photos that I like here, I'm going to group them together and I'm going to put them into a new album. Albums, by the way, are called collections in Classic's terminology. It might take a few minutes for things to sync back and forth, but when I open up my Lightroom catalog, this album and the images that I just found will be waiting for me inside of Classic's Collections panel. Bam! That was super easy. But before you get too excited, let me make it clear that this workaround is far from perfect. If you have not synced anything from Classic to your Adobe Cloud account, then Semantic Search Online is not going to work for you. And of course, only a portion of my whole Classic catalog has been synced, so the results that I get using this method will be far from complete. So now that you've seen the power of semantic search, let's talk about a much more robust option for us Classic users. There are a couple of third-party plugins with their own semantic search engines that you can add onto Lightroom Classic. It's not cheap, but the plugin that I like the best is called Excire Search 2026. Before I started recording this demo, I licensed the Excire Search plugin, and I allowed its AI engine to look through my entire Lightroom catalog. I did this so that Excire's AI model could build its own index of the objects that it recognized in all of my photographs. Because I have already indexed all of my images, I can open up this plugin from the Plugin Extras menu, and then I can go to the box they call Text Prompt. In here, I can run the same type of search that we did at the start of this video. This is great, but wait, there's more. Because this plugin builds its own database, you can use this tool even when you are offline. In addition, you can use this plugin to perform other kinds of AI-powered searches, including one of my favorites, which is the Find by Example Photos feature. To use this tool, select a photo that you like, then invoke the plugin, but choose the one that says Example Photo. When you do this, you're asking Excire to look for similar shots. Here, we can tell the plugin to look for photos with similar content or similar colors. We can adjust how tight or loose and the number of results to display. I'll say start, and in no time, we find similar images. I think this is fantastic. I've done my best to add keywords to all my photos, but with 20 years worth of images, lots of shots have fallen through the cracks. Using this tool, all that I need to do is to find one photo that I like, and then I can ask the AI to find all of the rest. As you can see, there are lots of other uses for the Excire Search plugin, but I think that we've covered enough for one tutorial. If Excire Search 2026 interests you, then I'm happy to say that there's a 15% off discount code available over at focusphotoschool.com. Well, there you go. I think that the future of search is beginning to appear, and I hope it will make finding our favorite images so much faster and easier. I hope that you found this lesson helpful. If you learned something today, then please leave us a like or a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in our next tutorial.